To me, GOGI means just living positively, making positive decisions day in and day out, and it all starts with your thoughts. Um, every thought produces um, everything in the universe. I read that somewhere in a book, and so yeah, that's what GOGI means to me is positive decision making, living positive.
Let's talk about when you first heard the word GOGI. What did you think?
I thought like, what is this? What is this about? It sounds funny, and I was just really interested, curious about it. A little bit after I started doing the courses, there was an opening in the leadership group on Bravo Yard there in Pelican Bay, and so I was able to get into that leadership group, and I started attending those groups.
What did leadership require you to do?
Just attend weekly meetings and participate in those meetings. Just be a good example to all the other prisoners on the other men on the yard.
When did it click for you that, okay, I'm doing this GOGI thing, I'm in leadership, hey, I could get out and do it differently? When did you make that kind of commitment to show up as a solution? Because now, like, you're major solution in your community. You're like major solution.
I would say like real shortly after I started attending the meetings, because I seen from the other men, the other leaders in that group, I seen the progress in them and how the tools were working for them, and so that made me, it motivated me even more to make them work for myself.
Do you remember when we came there with our cameras and we recorded you?
Yes, I do.
What did you think about that?
I thought it was cool. I was a little nervous, but I thought it was a real cool experience because it was called a GOGI graduation, and I never graduated from high school, so it was a cool experience to be able to have that ceremony.
And you read a beautiful poem. I loved it so much that we ended up putting it in one of our books, and you read it.
I just wrote a little poem for this special occasion.
Yeah.
And I wrote it thinking what GOGI means to me, and I just like to share it with everybody, and I called it the GOGI Tools. I am definitely striving to change. The first thing I had to do was be the boss of my brain. Belly breathing wasn't easy for me to learn at all, especially when I've been breathing wrong for so long. I'm proud to say I did it, and now I'm fully committed to this GOGI way of living and 5-second light switches, which is in my best interest, and I mean that with a passion. I went from negativity to positive thoughts, words, and actions. I claim responsibility for all of my decisions, from my time on the streets to my time now in prison. Today, I let go of the small things and the big things. Who would have thought my entire life GOGI is what was missing? I know how to forgive because I am safe from harm. What if I am not my past? What if I don't create alarm? My reality check is this: I know I'm not perfect, but if the 10 and 2 rule leads to ultimate freedom, then learning these tools are worth it. Thank you.
Yeah, you kind of changed your life around. Well, when I look at your baby pictures and your childhood pictures, I see like a lot of love in your family. I mean, like too much love. It's like a little love fest. Everybody's hugging and kissing each other. What happened in those dark years, and why on earth would you have exchanged all that love that I saw in all those photos for kind of the dark days that you did? What was going on in your mind?
Well, I have chose to join a gang because I didn't know how to deal with the emotions I was facing in my life at that time, and everything I was dealing with my dad going to prison, and so I felt neglect, and then I turned to seeking acceptance from negative peers, and yeah, well, by me joining a gang, that's where it all went dark. I always felt like I had a chip on my shoulder, like I had something to prove. And by me feeling that way, thinking like that, it led to a lot of negative decisions.
Why do you think that's human nature? Because it seems to me, Coach Jacob, that that is the downfall of a lot of people. We get a chip on our shoulder that something happened to us. That what do you think about that?
Well, I think it is natural because as a child, you're either learning these things, either negative or positive things, and you're either progressing or regressing. And so for me, the things that I've learned to deal with what I was going through were all negative. Drinking alcohol, violence, and these are learned things because we're not born, we're not born violent, we're not born negative people, we're not born gang members, and so these things are learned. So I think that's what it boils down to is these are learned behaviors or learned thoughts and thought processes. And so that's why we do what we do. If we don't know any better, then how are we going to do better?
So you're now training, you're actually training a group that's going to be working with women and children and men who are struggling with some of the same decisions that you've been through. What is it like to train the facilitators, and what kind of hope can you give them that all is not lost and there are other choices? How does it feel to be working with facilitators you're training?
It feels amazing, Coach, because
Really?
being able to give back the way that I am, and to have people who are on the same page as me, they want to help the community as well, and so I think it's awesome. It feels great to know that I'm not in this alone, and there's people, and these are actually my people. We're all Pacific Islanders, and it's just, God works in mysterious ways. So it's cool. I like that. And to know that they're in a whole different state and they're trying to reach out to our community, it's pretty amazing.
So tell me, of the tools, which one would you use the most? Or are you to the point where you just are the tools? Like for me, if somebody says, what's your favorite? I have to separate myself from the tool and actually think about the tool. Because for me, I just am the tools.
No, I feel the same way how you just mentioned. Like I am all the tools, and like if I have to pick one, then I will. But I tend to lean on all of them because they all work for me. And
Yeah.
So yeah, if I had to choose one, it would be the boss of my brain. I even wear my bracelet. It says I am the bomb. And so, just knowing that I am the bomb, it really helps me on a day-to-day basis. Just knowing that whether I choose to do good or bad, or when I did choose bad, I was always the boss. So now I know that I can be a good boss instead of a bad boss. Of course, I'm going to want to be a good boss. I had a board hearing November 18th.
That.
Yeah, November 18th, 2020. I was actually supposed to go on March 28th, 2020, but COVID hit. And so they postponed all of the hearings in those last 2 weeks of March.
Coach Jacob, tell me about your interview. You went into the board hearing. Were you nervous, sick to your stomach the night before? Were you prepared? What went on in your mind? And then what was the hearing like?
I was extremely nervous in the hearing. I did a lot of praying and belly breathing. But I think it wasn't as nervous because it was on a Zoom, and before the COVID, it was in person. And so I think if it would have been in person, I would have been more nervous. So I was kind of thankful that it was on Zoom. And but even still, even though it was on Zoom, I was still extremely nervous, and I even fumbled a couple times on a couple questions. But that was my very first hearing. That was my initial hearing, and I was found suitable. So I think they really liked the fact that I was a coach, a GOGI coach, and I really knew my tools and utilized them. I gave a couple examples of the way that I utilize my tools or utilize other coping skills as well as my GOGI tools, and thankfully I was found suitable on my first try.
Yeah, I had no doubt because you made a commitment early on, 100%. People might say that you're quiet or you're shy or you're reserved, but once you make a commitment, you're like a pit bull. You grab on with your teeth and you just, you are not letting go.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you decided to be a solution for communities, you bit onto that, and nobody's going to get you off.
Yeah.
You're going to go to your grave just lockjawed on being the solution.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's really wonderful. I've got great confidence in you because I've seen all of those characteristics that have proven to me to be success. Like when you told me I'm going to work my first job, one of my responses, I think, was, well, pretty soon they're going to have you be the boss. And I have no doubt. I think pretty soon they're going to say, hey, we want to move you up to a supervisor position. I just think that's I think that's in the cards for you. I think there's no stopping you because you have a commitment to live a life of service. And I think if I can say that anyone exemplifies what that looks like, it's definitely Coach Jacob.
Thanks, Coach.
GOGI, to me, what GOGI means to me means transformation, means turning into a whole new person, letting go of who you once were. It's like a guide into a whole new person, letting go of old beliefs, old character defects, old behavior, and going into a new one, accepting a new way of life. I went to prison at 17 for a crime that my gang had committed. It wasn't even me. Obviously, I was going to trial all the way through when I got arrested for this case, and there was no going back for me because I didn't do this crime. So I knew that sooner or later the truth would come out and I would get set free. But that never happened. I went to trial and I lost. And when not only did I lose in trial, but I was given a life sentence. And I was so angry. I was so angry at the fact that I felt like society failed me. I felt like my community failed me. I felt like it was everybody else's fault but mine. And like I said, prison only made me a lot worse while I was in there. And I've always gave credit and praise to this program because this was the beginning for me in my rehabilitation. This was the very first group that I was involved in that really, really trusted me with these tools, not only by allowing me to complete this curriculum, but afterwards, Coach Taylor trusted me with being able to facilitate these tools while I was in prison. So. Hey, Coach.
Hey, wonderful Cesar Zuniga. It's so good to see you.
How are you?
I have a question. When you were really active in the GOGI meetings, before you needed a bunch of other credentials that moved you forward to the career you now have, when you were very, very active in leading and sharing and walking the yard with people, how many lives would you say you directly impacted during your very intense GOGI leadership days?
I want to say thousands.
Yeah.
Not only through the time that I was in Soledad, even through the work that I'm doing today, when I was going into Ironwood, because Ironwood is a big GOGI prison, and Calipet, which is a big GOGI prison, and Centinela, which is a big GOGI prison. as soon as the men recognized my name of who I was, they right away, they're like, oh, this is your Cesar from GOGI. Like they already knew who I was. To really see one of their own out free in the community and now coming back in, why are you coming back in? I says, well, because first and foremost, I once didn't care about me till other people started caring about me. And then when I seen other people that were complete strangers care about me, then I had to start caring about myself. So I understand you. I understand the way you feel today. I understand what you're going through while you're sitting in that chair and you have to go back to that cell, because I was once you. I was that person. So I get it. You don't have to tell me anything because I understand you. So I'm here to show you that I'm not the exception to the rule. I did the hard work and that's why I'm home. And if you do the hard work yourself, then you can be home, because it's never too late. It's never too late to change.
Why is GOGI a little different than other program providers or other programs?
I would say because GOGI focuses on the individual, right? On character development, on every single person that needs it for them to become a different person. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for these tools or for this program. I think that I'll probably still be stuck somewhere, probably in prison or maybe out of prison, but it took a while longer than when I came home. Right. So, honestly, I don't know. I don't know where I would be without these tools, because even though, like I said, I've taken numerous amounts of other self-help groups, this is the one that really, really did it for me in the beginning because of so much trust that Coach Taylor, gave to me.
I think what's remarkable is GOGI is, if you want freedom, you must live a life of service.
Mhm.
Ultimate freedom says being free is up to me. I want to thank you for being one of the finest examples of internal freedom, finest examples of a GOGI leader. It's an honor to call you my friend. It's an honor to call you a student of the GOGI Life Tools, and I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you, Coach. I mean, like I said, I've never steered away from the fact that this was the group that actually put me on that road.
My name is Abdullah Muhammad, and I am a face of GOGI.
I was so very happy when you reached out to say hello. And it just thrilled me to no end to hear a little bit about your GOGI journey and how you were starting GOGI groups there and then getting out and you living a life of service. I was so impressed with that I really wanted you to share your story, your GOGI story, and then Life Now story. What is Life Now? So can you just talk to me a little bit about, one, how did you get involved with GOGI? And you were really excited that by the time you left, you had everybody excited about it. And then we'll talk to what was it like to get out? How did you feel? What were you doing? And then after that, talk about what you're doing. So let's start with your GOGI journey. Tell me about it.
It's kind of unique, really. Because see, the anger management and stuff, that wasn't the first time I took those courses, right? And that story I tell that happened my first time. Unfortunately, first time I happened 2 times. The first time I came out, I had an anger management requirement. And I remember coming home and I'm telling the wife, look, don't say nothing to me. I just got back from anger management and I'm mad as hell. Now, that's not the way you're supposed to leave anger management, right?
Wow.
So when I came in, BSP, there was guys that was involved in the GOGI course, but when I was in, I guess when you first get there, a lot of people weren't able to go there, but yes, a few guys had a few books there, right? And one guy had one. It was the first one, going to GOGI, learning GOGI.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that program. That's nothing, man. They don't really work. The guy said, "Now you ought to try this." I'm like, "Nah, I wasn't interested, right?" And then another guy came in that happened to be martial artist like myself, right? We had some experiences, and he was telling me, "Look, just try it once. If you don't, I said, okay, let me listen to it." And so I got his book, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, this is making some sense here," and I right. And then the unique thing about Gogi, one thing I see why it works so good is like other places have you give you a bunch of ritual things to do, and they tell you things like, now you go back and tell the people the such thing that you're sorry. And if you really follow that program like they say it, your buddy be back in the penitentiary for cat and scratch his butt because none of those things work. And you're never working on you. And then
Right.
pretty soon you get to the point to all you're really trying to do is finish a program so you can get off parole.
Yeah.
But go be looking at you from day one. I keep what I call my toolbox with me. After all the Gogi tools,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have the
And
little pocket full of Gogi? Do you have one of those little pocket full of?
yes, that stays with me. And everything from belly breathing to boss my brain, it all deals with the person inside. And me being from spiritual, I take it as you condition your soul. Because that's that's the only person that's gonna make this work is yourself. And Gogi deals with the self. And that's the only way it works. And if you practice the Gogi tools, it's unbelievable.
Honestly, you sound like almost like an imam.
Well, actually, I am.
Oh, are you serious? You are Imam Abdullah?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah.
Oh
I
my
am.
gosh. Because the way you were speaking was from such a profound spiritual sense of awareness. Like you don't just understand the tools, you understand the tools on a bigger picture. And I know you're a Muslim, ma'am. So I figured, well, he sounds like a spiritual teacher because what he's talking about is the human spiritual nature, the nature of the human to be spiritual. And when you talk about the tools and how Gogi has always focused on the individual, I just felt like, oh, yes, you are a Gogi Imam. That's who you are.
When I came into VSP, so people just coming in didn't have a chance to actually go. But there was a lot of people there that had books, and people left their books. And by now I'm interested. So I started out near a table, and people started coming to the table with me. So I had started a group of 5. We started studying Gogi together. And then that 5 turned into 6 and so forth, right? And
Yes.
then by the time I left there, it was like a crew of 8. Then I went to CMF. CMF didn't have the Gogi program going there, right? And so, but there were some people that are familiar with it. And so my little dorm, I started once again. I got the day on the table and see where we can get going, right? We had to take it out from the table to the yard, and we had about 25 people.
Wow, you had 25 people at this point engaged in your Gogi group?
Yes, I was trying to. I never made it to a peer council. That's what I was trying to do because I was told I become a peer counselor. I got something to go to the Mac West with, and maybe I can get Gogi in, right? But I didn't get that far. But we had a group, and the good thing about it is that everybody in the group, since they was already incarcerated, they was doing this not because somebody made them do this. You see, at places where Gogi is, you can get points for and whatnot. Some people are there because they actually benefiting, and some because they see a way out.
Sure.
But here, Gogi wasn't part of a CMF system, see? So you only came to Gogi because you wanted to do something for yourself. And we had guys there that had been down a long time, and the system it's a false society that creates all kind of nonsense, and Gogi was your way out. Even in here, I mean, it was your way out inside.
Gogi helped prepare you to get out. You have kids in Minnesota. This is a whole new world, and you get out during COVID, right? Or near COVID.
And really wasn't nothing going on out here for me at the time. And then when I came out, one of the guys that I was working with in Gogi, right? He knew somebody, and that's how I found my place. And then I started putting things in order. I got my little support coming and stuff in nature. and I pick up my phone with my kids. I'm in contact with them through the telephone. And they was like amazed because of certain changes, right? They hear it in my voice and stuff, right? And it was weird because my problem was at the time was I was never into crime or nothing, but I had a temper, and the temper always got me into trouble. And being a martial artist with a temper is not good.
Right.
They was amazed how my reaction to certain things was. Certain things come out, I didn't react the way I normally would and whatnot, right?
Now you're settled into this life that is called the free world. What is life like for you, and what inspired you to reach out and connect with me again?
Because basically I love you so much. Because see, I'm in the process of starting my own clothing label. Now, the way I got that is, see, because I could taught myself how to sew, but I went to school and learned the fashion merchandising design, a 5-year course I learned in a few months and graduated because of the way I studied with GOGI. I've taken another course. It takes so many years to go, which I'll be doing in a few more months, that I'll be considered a professional tailor again, using the way that GOGI taught me how to study. See, so just getting that trade down, GOGI is responsible for that. And
I love that. That is so, and that's what we aim to do. We don't want everybody to be the same. We want everybody to be different and unique, and we want these tools to help them be their unique self. So if these tools help you be a better tailor and a designer of clothing and a better Muslim, a better teacher, a better imam, I could think of no greater success. That is exactly in my heart what GOGI is about, helping every individual be their very, very best. And you saying that it helped you on reentry, that it helped you with your tailoring courses, that just warms my heart, because that's always been the mission and vision, is let's find the individual and let them be unique, different, inspired, helpful, loving. I just see a beautiful world if we can spread these tools more.
We gotta claim responsibility for all that we do in this life. And once we understand this, then we'll gain that ultimate freedom. We gotta claim responsibility for all that we do in this life. And once we understand this, then we'll gain that ultimate freedom. Yeah, okay. Motivated by GOGI, getting out by going in. On the boss of my brain, yeah, on the boss of my brain. Better breathe and meditate, elevate yourself. Everything that you do, gotta elevate yourself. 5-second light switch, old thought, new action. Through GOGI life, we can make it all happen. What if you make it all the way to the top? And what if your future holds everything that you want? Through positive thoughts, we can manifest it all. Let go, but don't give up. We're just out for bad thoughts. And know that positive words lead to all positive actions. Reality check. We all young bosses, and we will not stop until we unhook from our past, until the people understand that we are all great and we all living better through GOGI life. We gotta claim responsibility for all that we do in this life. And once we understand this, then we'll gain that ultimate freedom.